Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This is by Allah. The title of this video is Fish'em. Fish'em. Alright. And this is really inspired by a previous video I did where I actually pulled out the scripture. And honestly, just open the app, it was still on the same scripture. And I said, yeah, let me do a video on this. And it's definitely the spirit, because it opened my mind to some scriptures I'm familiar with, but the depths of how deep those actual scriptures are has been opened. So this it should be a short video, but Lord willing, it will be edifying. It says Jeremiah 16:16, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out the holes of the rocks. So let's read it again. It says, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord Yahweh. All right, so the Heavenly Father said he's going to send for many fishers. When is he going to do this? All right, he's presently doing it in this time. All right, it was done previously in the time of Yahushai, which we're going to show by way of the account. All right, the example, the account of Yahushai. All right, but as we know, when Yahushai was beamed up into the chariot in the book of Acts, the first chapter, prior to him getting beamed up, he said that, we would have to, the apostles, the disciples that were becoming apostles, because he was sending them away. All right, they were told that they would, preach in various regions and only to the utmost part of the earth, which we are presently in. And Paul broke it down splendidly, saying that there shall be a falling away first. All right, which really speaks to many prophetic scriptures, the falling away where we would not know where Israel. All right, and that only happened. But then guess what? There was, a rebirth, an awakening. And this is where the awakening has now led us to this time, to the point of being fishers of men. All right? Or being fishers as it's being spoke of by Jeremiah. So I'll read again. Behold, I will send for many fishers. Right? He didn't say he's going to send for one. He's going to send for many. All right? Because there's a great task at hand to fish many fish. All right? Specifically, the elect of the nation of Israel. 144,000 being the governing body. And then 1/3 of the nation of Israel dealing with America, which, is a great number. Even though it's a small number amongst a great number of America, of the children of Israel. It's great because the number of the children of Israel is as the sand of the sea. All right? So it says, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord Yahweh, and they shall fish them. So he's going to send for many fishers, and they're going to do what? They're going to do according to their title, fish them. All right? So they're gonna find those, and this is why we do these videos. To go on the highways and byways, we use the bait. One of the main forms of bait being that sign, right? Being the Caesar Borgia sign, the Yahushai sign, right? Those things are bait to lure in the people, and it's gonna bring in some bad and it's gonna bring in some good. But we're banking on bringing in the good. All right, but the point is we are fishing, all right? And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them, all right? So it says, and after will I send for many hunters. So there's a period of fishing and then gathering the fish, and only those fish that get fished are going to become more fishers, but there's going to come a point where there's going to be no need for more fishing. It's going to translate into a time of hunting, all right? Those fishers are going to turn into hunters. Right, and that's where Yahushua speaks of what the Lord comes to bring fire upon the earth, and what be I if it be already kindled? All right, because it's gonna be, there's this thing is multifaceted. There's gonna be, a lot going on in the times that we're leading up into. All right, it's gonna be the hour of temptation where everyone's gonna be tempted. There's gonna be famine, pestilence, myriad of things happening simultaneously upon the earth, whilst these prophecies are springing out, springing forth, should I say. And then in the anticipation of Yahushua making his return, some, are going to be martyrs for the sake of Yahweh Bar Shem El Shai, but then some are going to receive spiritual power and going to be blessed and risen up. And they're going to be part of the people that are going to kindle, take that, not lint, what do you call it? When you want to make a fire, it's escaping me. But, you take you kindle it's the word for fuel. But anyway, it's just gonna light it up, and it's, start a fire, fan the flame, and the fire's gonna start. But then the ferocity of that flame is gonna increase, all right, as it draws closer to the time of Yahushua making his return. And that's what it speaks about. And after all I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out the holes of the rocks. So that time of fishing, while we fish for the children of Israel, it's also, as he spoke of in the book of Isaiah 34, speaking unto the nations. We're also speaking unto the nations, condemning them and letting them know their judgment, which ultimately is what the hunting is about, all right? But to dwell upon the fishing, and we'll get into the hunting a little later, let's build upon that point with this example in the book of Luke, the 5th chapter. So it's the book of Luke 1 and 5 and 1, sorry. All right, I'm going to read down to verse 11. So it says, and it came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of Yahweh, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret. All right. Mind you, if you read the chapter before, this is when Yahushua basically started doing his miracles and was revealed unto the people, and it revered him greatly. He started seeing the miracles, and they didn't want to let him go. All right, they wanted to be part of the miracle, get miracles done to them, witness it, all that type of stuff. But he, if you read the last chapter, he basically said, look, I've got to go to other places, man. Because he was over in Capernaum in Galilee. All right. Verse 2, and saw 2 ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. All right, so Yahushua, so for us to envision this, all right, what's being written, Yahushua, the people were pressing him because they wanted to hear the word. So, in order to get some distance and space, he got into one of the ships, and Peter, who he asked, pushed him out a little way from the land so that he could speak unto the people. And that really shows you that the heavenly, Yahushua's voice, the water helped carry it, but he had, as it speaks of, he had a voice of many waters. He had a very loud voice, all right? He was very masculine, loud voice, all right? So he's in a ship, verse 4, doing the work. And when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a draught. Now, mind you, Simon is what? A fisherman, all right? One of the boats, it said the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets, which Simon was one of the fishermen that was doing that. But the point being is that was his bread and butter. That's how he earned a living. That was his worldly job, okay, how he made his money. And he'd done a another work, all right, in aiding Yahushua in his ministry. So let's read on verse 5. And Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down the net. All right, so that shows you a lot, man. All right, so he let it be known, look, Master, we were out here, we've been working, we've been trying to, get some fish to come in, but nothing happened. But as you were saying it, Master, all right, Yahushua, I will do as you say in accordance to your word. All right, so that shows you that even though he made it known that, they've been working to no avail, he said, because you asked, I'll do it. All right, which shows you something that we have to do, follow the word of Yahushua. All right, when we look at this on a spiritual level. Verse 6, and when they had done this, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net break. So they got so many fishes that it broke the net. All right. And they beckoned unto their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both the ships, so they began to sink. All right. So let's read that again. And they beckoned their partners, which were in the other ship. All right. Now be mindful of what it's going to say, because we understand that this is where Yahushua ultimately says to them, you'll be fishers of men. All right, this just shows you how abundant the fishing would be. All right, when you remember when Yahushua was preaching, he said 5,000 were brought unto him in one day, and he fed them with what? Fish and bread and fish, right? And he had so much left over as well. All right, showing you a great abundance in bringing into the word. All right, which, this is a pattern of things to come. All right, so let's read it again. And they beckoned unto their partners. So this shows you, what does it say? The harvest is white, but the laborers are few. All right, pray that there be more laborers come in. And that shows that, look, the harvest was white. There was a great abundance of fish. So what did they do? There's more men put in to aid in doing so. All right, and then carry on. It says, which were in the other ship, that they would come and help them, and they came and filled both the ships, so that it began to sink. All right, that's how abundant it was. Now, mind you, to remember as well, this is their bread and butter. This is how they eat. All right, it's how they get what they get. And it's just rings, seek the kingdom, and all things shall be added unto you. Because what was the first thing done? All right, they were trying to work and, earn a living, but it didn't work. Yahushua went into the boat, preached the word, did the work, the spiritual work. And what happened? The reverberations of that spiritual work came into the physical by way of them being, feeding the spirit. So they got fed in the physical, all right, by means of what? These fish, all right, but showing you seek the kingdom first, and all things shall be added unto you. And they were added in great abundance. Verse 8, when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Yahushua's knees, saying, depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. All right, now, this is the thing, all right, this just shows you how powerful this was. And I read something like this, and it just resonates with me. This is if I be honest, this is what actually made me use the example. I was going to use Mark or Matthew as an example. But when I read that, I was like, man, I'm using this as an example. But then everything else come together the more I read it. Once or twice, when I read it a bit more, when I combed through it more thoroughly, I realized how deep it was. All right, but it's just because of that, because it's just like, that resonates, man. Like shit, man, with pieces of shit. All right, man. It's just, that's where it is, man. It's just, so I get that sentiment, Simon Shemaiah saying that, man. But the reality is that the Lord ain't gonna depart from the men of his. The Lord isn't gonna depart from the elect, right? Why is that? Because they need them, man. They need him. He's the one that's gonna make them turn away from being sinners and turn them into righteous men. right? Turn him onto a clean way. And that's what he came for. He came for the sinners. He came for those that are in need of Yahushua, because he is the Redeemer. If you ain't sinning, all right, I don't want to say it like that, but if you weren't a sinner, how's he gonna redeem you? If you're clean already, how's he gonna redeem you? Right? And it's better yet, if you think you're clean, that's even worse. Because the only way you can be clean is through Yahushua redeeming you from the curse of the law. All right? Because the law don't make you clean. The law is being shown that time and time again, us being in his flesh does not mesh with the way of the Heavenly Father. All right? It was said from prior to the flood. Right? That's why the first death was brought about. And we're hot on the heels of the second death being brought on this earth. Okay? So if you ain't learned nothing from before, you're definitely going to learn it this time around. Verse 9, for he was astonished, and all that were with him, at the draught of the fishes which they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Yahushua said unto Simon, fear not, for from henceforth thou shalt catch men. And that really shows you everything that happened there, spiritual, to the extent that this is how it's going to all come to a head. All right? Because henceforth thou shalt catch men. And that was obviously for all of them. Verse 11, and when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. Right? So they even though they made a great bank on that day, they forsook all and saw that the true wealth was with Yahushua. All right? So let's close out on this. This is the book of Matthew 13. Scroll down to the bottom. And this is verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that's cast into the sea. That was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. All right, like shown before. But this is really what it is. The kingdom of heaven coming upon the earth is like a net being thrown out. And then you gather a great abundance of fish. Right, but it reads on, verse 48. Which when it was full and drew to shore and sat down, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast it by the way. So the good was what they kept, but the bad, they just cast them away. All right, the good being the elect, and the bad being the 2/3, and only the 2/3, the wicked Israel. Verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world, the angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. Right, so the wicked, all those that are not worthy of the kingdom, heathens and whatnot, they're going to be cast into what? Into the furnace of fire, the lake of fire, World War III, thermonuclear destruction. They shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Right, that's only how the hunters shall hunt them. Because even prior to it getting on and popping, the hunters are going to hunt them. But then only afterwards they're going to hunt them when they take them out of the crevices of rocks. The elites of this society who are going to be the first slaves, they're going to get shackles slammed on their wrists. All right? So it shows you all. All right? There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. So yeah, man, with that, that's a lesson. Lord willing, he was edified. To the next one. Say shalom. Shalom.